Alright, Sean Brown here with another Blu-ray update. And this time I picked up the Mad Max trilogy on Blu-ray. It's in this awesome looking still case. As you can see, Max on the front with his sawed-off shotgun. Kind of the roads in the back, like the barren wasteland. You got him and his dog from the Road Warrior. And then you've got the three films themselves: Mad Max, Road Warrior, and Beyond Thunderdome, which are all kind of just silver wording with black there. But this whole trilogy is just like every movie is as great as the last. The definitive, like, post-apocalyptic films from Australian filmmaker George Miller. Of course, starring Mel Gibson, which made him a star. And basically, the first film, as well as the second, all three really, but really the first was about like just the big like car, like motorcycle action stunts, just doing that, just like like full out. Like the first film and Road Warrior easily like the two greatest, car action, motorcycle action, car chase, whatnot, stunt films like ever made. Without a doubt. But back before it's all, nowadays it's all like CGI, but back then was all like real stunts because they didn't have the computer graphics. It was just real, like Kurt Russell says in Death Proof, real stupid people driving real cars and wrecking them. But basically the first one and the second one are just really, really just dark in the tone. They show a lot of like the, graphic violence. Like in the first one, he's a cop. They're called the Interceptors, or they drive the Interceptors. And starts off, they're chasing Knight Rider, which that car there, the car the Knight Rider drives, the stunt where he wrecks, he's actually doing like 184 miles an hour, or per hour. And it's like a jet fueled car, drifts this corner, just wrecks, blows up. But and then he's kind of like the mythological like hero figure, and like, or they're trying to make him be, because they're like, there's like no more heroes. It's kind of like what is I guess you'd say it's a sheriff, not really a sheriff, but the commanding officer tells him, and he's wanting to take some time off and just get away from it all, or really just time to think. And then his buddy Goose, some of the guys in the beginning from the gang, they end up like burning his like best friend, which gets him. He really don't want to be in it then, or needs time to think about it. And he leaves and he goes off with his wife and his daughter. And then they find his wife and his daughter, and then they kill them, and then that just sets off his his rage within, and he just goes on this full out revenge, like vengeance against the whole biker gang. And just one by one, just stunt after stunt, chase after chase, the full outs on the roads, the brutality at the end of the film just gets them all. Like the last guy, he like leaves him there alive with this bowl of gasoline filling up and a lighter, and once the gas hits the lighter, kaboom, and he's like, he gives him the saw. He's like, if you got 10 minutes, you might be able to saw your ankle off or foot off and get out of here. And he ends up, of course, dying, and that's like the end of the film. He just drives off into the kind of the barren wastelands of it, becoming the which would set up his character for the Road Warrior. But I really love like the cinematography, the camera work is really well done, and really all three films, really the first two, they're all three great. But they're like the first one. He really has a lot of influence by other directors. George Miller did. Like there's kind of like a High Noon reference where the biker gang shows up at the train station, and they're there to, everybody goes and hides from them, and they go to get they're waiting for the train to come in and get their dead friend Knight Rider in a coffin, which is kind of like the scene from High Noon where the guys are waiting for Frank to show up on the train. Really just a big Western tribute to it. And like the one guy wears like the Lolita sunglasses, so it's like a Stanley Kubrick tribute. And then you've got like a Alfred Hitchcock tribute where the commanding officer's looking down at Max, and he walks out. It's just like that, kind of like that Vertigo stairwell shot. And then there's other kind of Vertigo-esque, like driving moments within the film, like the way Jimmy Stewart follows Kim Novak. There's kind of a Akira Kurosawa reference in the first one with like the hands hanging behind the car and the dog looking at it, that's really what I love. The Road Warrior is my favorite, not just stunt-wise, but the whole film, Road Warrior, is just a massive near remake or just giant influence of Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. Not even just the Seven Samurai, but there's like the scene where they're looking out over the mountain down at the gas, where they're mining the gas out of the ground. That's kind of like a reference to like Kagemusha. And like the shot where that's like shows the camera in the highway and the car comes in past the camera. It's kind of like the camera shots from like Hidden Fortress where the horses ride in past the camera. A lot of different, the whole film of Road Warrior with like Max playing out like one of the Seven Samurai. He drifts in there. And the way the villains are dressed with their black like samurai suits, and the villagers are all, it's like that little village, and then of course the wastelanders, the bandits, they're like the ones the Ronin coming in to take over the village from like Seven Samurai, and then the people within are all dressed like kind of this ancient white looking samurai, like really Japanese-esque looking outfits and wear. They all use like the bows. Even one guy has the samurai swords. Just ridiculous Akira Kurosawa Seven Samurai tributes in there. So I really love that about it. And they kind of like him really embrace. He was really, because George Miller's all about the hero, and then of course the second film, Road Warrior, Mad Max, like is that hero figure. From the first film, he becomes the hero, and then in the Road Warrior, he is that mythological hero figure. And like in the end of the film, he just, he goes off on his own. That's the last they ever see of him. Even the stunts in Road Warrior, just almost could go beyond the first Mad Max. And like the big muscle guy with like the Jason Voorhees. I don't know if that inspired Friday the 13th or Friday the 13th inspired that. Either way. But and then with the Beyond Thunderdome, it really has a whole 80s vibe. It changes away from the first two films, becomes more PG, family oriented, which I'm fine with that. It's just doing it differently, because the first two films, Road Warrior taught Mad Max, and how can you go beyond that? So they went a whole different direction. And even though I still like Thunderdome, it doesn't have that dark kind of like that. The Mad Max, the whole feel of the first two films. It's more, like I said, more PG at the 80s at the time, like the music, the style of the film. The beginning of the Beyond Thunderdome, that's actually a tribute to Lawrence of Arabia, because his cars broke down, the camels are pulling in. He's dressed up just like Lawrence. All those, classic like desert shots or dune shots. There's even the Man with No Name tribute in there, because they call him the Man with No Name when he arrives in Bartertown. And the whole Bartertown is kind of like almost like a Blade Runner-esque, like the whole Asian culture influence within Bartertown. Like they really, with all like the settings and the costumes and the special effects and the props at that time is very 80s. You had Tina Turner, she did the music in there, or some of the music. And then you get like with the kids, all that, and then towards the end they have another, like a classic, true like a Mad Max, just all out road chase where they're going down the railway, and Tina Turner and her whole Bartertown gang, go after him. But the whole Mad Max trilogy is just greatness. Like I said, the Road Warrior, that's like the greatest Seven Samurai remake I've ever seen. That's just like, thumbs up to Miller for really taking Seven Samurai and putting it in like a different perspective, and it works. I never even noticed it, because I used to own these on DVD. And I'm glad to have this set on Blue, the Mad Max trilogy. And I guess that is my review for the Mad Max trilogy on Blu-ray, and thank you for watching.